What is going on, people? Welcome back to Americana. It's Lars. Today I got something real nice for you guys. It's a 1978 square body GMC K10 half ton 4x4. You know the deal. It's a nice truck. Now this thing got repainted sometime back in the 90s. The paint is faded, you know what I mean? It's like kind of cloudy. She's oxidized. She's old. We're gonna bring that all the way back around today. You're gonna see it for yourself. You're gonna like how this thing turns out. Now, I'm going to do a lot of talking in the beginning of this video, but just stay along for the ride. I'll get right into it, and you'll see me time-lapse buff this whole truck, and you'll see her nice and shining at the end, and you're going to love it. Don't forget to go back on the channel and check out some of the other videos. I know you're going to like it, so hit that subscribe button if you like what you see, and don't forget to hit that like button. Let's get into this. All right, so here it is. Pretty nice truck. She's got some dings and some scratches, but all in all, I'm not going to show you the part that I've done on it. But yeah, she's a K10. She's a 4x4. We got some work to do on the interior, but it's obviously pretty solid. I know a lot of you guys have seen these trucks and you've seen what kind of condition they're usually in, so we really like this one because it's more original, you know what I mean? Like, we've had them before where they're, you know, somewhat restored. It's got new carpet, new this and that. Well, you know, this one's got, you know, original carpet and a lot of original goodies in here, so we like to see that. It gives it some good value. The radio's still in it, stuff like that. They did paint the dash and like paint this trim, and you know, they used gloss, which we're gonna be fixing that. That's, you know, that's kind of makes it look bad. But all in all, really solid truck. She's got slots on her, pretty sweet. But you guys, I think you guys will like to see, you know, how this paint comes out. As you can see, there's a lot of oxidation on it. You hear that, you know. She's not all glossy like she should be, or, you know, slick. Now, as I'm buffing this thing, I am finding a lot of sand scratches from when they painted it. I'll show you guys more about that later. That kind of sucks. This is basically the only rust on the truck here, which I know if you're in the South, you're like, that's a lot of rust. Which I know if you're in the South, you don't really have to deal with that kind of thing. But up here in the Midwest, this is a, you know, beautifully rust-free truck. All right, so without further ado, let's start working on this truck and see how this paint comes out. All right, here's a spot that I've already done on this truck. You can see the line there. I mean, look at this, dude. This stuff came out really nice. Nice and how it should be. Yeah, this truck is gonna look freaking sweet. Now, yesterday I did do the hood. I'll show you some of the sand scratches I'm talking about. You see this? See the little swirlies? Those are from a you know, DA, the sander. Yeah, and then you can see some straight scratches too. You know, it's just, you know, you always need to finish. Before you paint, you need to finish in 320 or higher. I like to use 400 just to make sure that I don't really have any scratches show up. Anything below 320 and sandpaper grit is gonna show when you paint it, so always keep that in mind. Now, this side I just hit, I hit all this with a 3000 Trizac before I did it. You can see a lot of the fallout they got when they painted this truck. It probably wasn't done in the booth, or maybe it was and it was just really dirty. So this side, when I did this side, I did 1500 first. And that cuts all out of that fallout off the surface of the paint. And this side looks a lot better. So I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna do 1500 here and redo this side to get it looking a little bit better. All right, so you can see like these little specks here. Those are like chunks of stuff that are on the paint that got stuck in there when they were painting it, okay? If I knew how thick this paint was, I could keep going and I could see all these scratches. Now you can really see them, you know? I could take all those scratches out if I knew how thick this paint was and I knew there was enough thickness for me to go down that deep, but I don't. I don't know how many coats of this stuff they did. So the last thing I want to do is go down too deep and burn through the layer of paint because I do not want to repaint this truck. But like you can see this area here right there, where there's no scratches, it's all nice and matte finish. That spot is gonna look beautiful. Sadly, you know, I'm not gonna risk it. But yeah, so now I'm gonna wipe this dust off and I'll come back and I'll hit it with 3000 wet. And then we'll be ready to buff. The rest of the truck, I won't be doing 1500 on, but flat areas like this where the dust just comes down when you're painting and lands on this flat surface, they're gonna be the worst shape. So. All right, there you can see that's after 3000. It's just foggy, you know, but all the 1500 scratches should be gone. If they're not, if you can see some, then you need to go back and hit it with 3000 harder again. All right, so now we're gonna buff this. Then you're gonna come in here with a really clean rag, otherwise you'll scratch it. Wipe off a little bit of the film that's on there. I mean, that looks twice as good as it already did here, and I'll show you the spot I was talking about. Remember the spot where there was no scratches? Yeah, it's right here, see? That spot's perfect. Then you can see the scratches. Gosh, I don't even know if you can see them on camera. Maybe you will be able to. I can't see them on this little screen. But yeah, so I mean, this looks really good. I mean, this truck's gonna look beautiful, honestly. It's not perfect, but it'll look pretty darn good. All right, I'll give you the rundown about how this fender is gonna go. I've already done this area. You're gonna be careful around the trim. I'm gonna keep the buffer going this way against the trim. And then I'm just gonna stay like probably a 1/4 inch, maybe more away from this, because the buffer will just rip this off. And these aren't cheap, and these are original. So you have to get in here with your fingers and a rag or something. The right way to do it is to remove that To be honest, I don't even know. I think these are on with like nuts on the back, so that ain't coming off. So I'll deal with that later. Those are the details. All right, anyways, let's get to it. All right, so I'm not gonna Trizac any of this because it's not as bad as the hood was, so we're not even gonna worry about it. And you can see I hit this little reflector, this side marker. Plastic will buff. You just gotta be careful because you can overheat it, it'll crack and stuff, so you just gotta hit it lightly. But this fender is looking really nice now. I'll probably save the bottom of the truck till later because it's so dirty. We washed the truck and everything, but you know, it's just naturally a dirty area that needs really scrubbed, so I don't want to get all that on the pad. All right, here, I'll show you guys an example of what it looks like when the paint starts to burn. Now, this isn't really my fault. It's really the painter's fault. But see this edge here? It's turning gray. That's gray primer. So we're burning through the brown layer of paint. So, you know, as soon as I saw this start, I just moved on, stopped touching this. It looks glossy because the buffer's making it glossy, and you can make almost anything glossy with a buffer. So it's but yeah, that's the gray primer. You won't really notice it. It just looks like, you know, whatever. Yeah, you know, it's because the painter shot like this, you know, and he really needed to come in here and hit this edge really good, and he didn't. So that's kind of stuff that happens. But it's coming along. All right, guys, well, there you have it. Off camera, I went ahead and hit the bottom, the rockers, and I hit the hood one more time. But yeah, you remember what this thing looked like from the beginning. Yeah, I hit the hood one more time to get out some of that little bit of fog that was left over. And it's a nice looking truck. We're not done with it, you know, it's still some odds and ends, you know, to get done. But don't go anywhere yet. I need you guys to see this thing out in the sunlight. Go ahead and hit that like button for me. And if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Go over to the channel and check out some of the other videos. I always got some old cool Chevys and old cool whatever. We get some pretty rare stuff around here, so I think you guys will like the channel. But yeah, stand by to see this thing in the sun. Oh yeah, looks good. This thing came a long way just in a little while. I mean, that's gonna make all the difference. Alright guys, I think that's it for this one. I appreciate you watching. Please go ahead and leave something down in the comment box there. I appreciate all the comments and I always try to respond to them. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Alright guys, thanks for watching. This is Lars Americana, signing off. Peace.